Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today we're taking a look at an ink. It is this ink. This was sent out by 3 Oysters quite a while ago. I have several of these inks that I've been sort of going through slowly. They're not going anywhere. They're on the market. You can find these at your favorite ink retailers for about 16 bucks, it looks like. So look in the description below. I'll have a link to some of my favorite places, Anderson Pens. I've got Pen Chalet. I've got Gold Spot in there. They're all 16 bucks. They all come in the same 38 ml bottle. It looks like this. They're interesting little bottles. They have the logo here. This is from the Delicious Colors line. So some places have it listed as 3 Oysters Delicious Bottled Ink Cool Gray or something like that. It's a long name. They have a little corner cut off on the bottle. So it actually can stand on this one corner, which is kind of fun. I guess if you're trying to get like the dregs of the bottle, I don't know, like it's not super sturdy on that corner. I haven't used it, but it does make for a really cool display. So you got that going for it. Nice big glass bottle in terms of size and such. The cap, which I screwed on way too tight. The bottle has a nice wide opening, so you can easily get a pen in there. These are all good things with regard to bottles. Thanks very much, 3 Oysters, for sending this out and for making cool bottles. I like a good glass bottle. I think they look nice, although I never display them because I don't want light to kill them or whatever. The box is pretty nice because it shows the label, but it also keeps the ink hidden, so that's cool. All right, so let's see what this looks like on paper. It looks like this on paper, which is actually quite nice. I've had this in a couple of pens. This is Audrey's pen, but I've been using it for the last few days just to get a feel for it with this ink, and this is a Sailor 1911 standard with a hard medium nib, HM, and it has been great. I really like this nib. I like this ink in this pen. It's kind of a great color for this gray pen, which I like a lot more than I thought I was going to. And then I have it in this one, which is a little bit special to me. I got this at the Chicago Pen Show. It was one of my only pen purchases there, and this is a Schaefer Legacy with a fantasy style barrel. These were put out by my buddy Jim Rouse way back when. Franklin Christoph did the fancy barrels for them. The rest of it is all Schaefer hardware and stuff. And I missed out on these when he was selling them because you always think you have more time, right? And then Matt Armstrong actually was selling this in Chicago, and I was like, yes, I will have that. So I've been using it in this one. This has an oblique broad nib on it, the Jim ground. So very special pen to me. I won't be letting this one go. And it is great with this ink, actually. It feels really nice. This ink flows super well, nice and smooth. I don't think it's super wet or super dry. I think it's just kind of in the middle. I haven't had any hard starts. I haven't had any interrupted lines. It's just been really nice. But on the same token, it doesn't flood the page or anything like that. So been very good. This is number 13 Rhodia pad. Little graph action. Actually a really nice size for ink reviews. It doesn't take up as much space. I don't know, maybe I'll be using this for a little bit, but same Rhodia paper we always see in these reviews because it's a good baseline, I think. On the 20 pound, pretty good. You get a little bit of a few spots of bleed or what have you. Let's take a look at it here. Here it is on the 20 pound, 30% recycled copy paper from Staples. This is your, general kind of crap office paper. I did get maybe a couple of little feathers in here or something, a couple here and there, a little bit here maybe, but really it's behaved itself pretty well. And you get some a little bit of spots, like a few little spots here at the end of a line where I rested, but the rest of it's fine. In fact, I think you could use both sides of even this page. So pretty good stuff. Good behavior there. We'll look at it on some other papers here in just a little bit. Quality, shading, but no sheen. You can see there is a little bit of shading here, and you can see that this is actually a very interesting ink. It's got lots of complex little colors in there as you go. Some gray inks are just sort of like a watered down black, and they don't get all that interesting. This one though, I think is really cool. It's got I don't know, bluish tones. There's some sort of gray in there. Of course there's gray in there. Some sort of brown in there, that kind of thing. Maybe even little hints of salmon or something. Anyway, wait till you see the chromatography of this guy. It is nuts. Okay. And I did both writing samples here, and you can see this in more detail on the static blog, inkdependence.com. but there's not really a big difference here. I've got a medium nib and an oblique broad, and the color looks more or less the same. It's a little bit lighter here, maybe, but I think it's just because the line is thinner. It's not actually any lighter. So, good on you, Three Oysters. This is a nice gray. Okay, let's do a water drop test, look at chromatography, look at it on some papers, and then we'll get on to some other colors that are kind of close, although really I don't have anything super close to this one. I have quite a few grays. I like grays. We'll be having some other grays here in the very near future as well. So let's give this a little shimmy. Just some regular old tap water here. Something you might accidentally spill on your page of work. Let's sort of blot it. Always blot, never smear. There we go. Actually, that's pretty darn good. Well done. A little bit of it came up here, and you get some interesting colors coming out in the chromatography, or like trying to be chromatography here. But yeah, you can still totally read this. So water resistant, I don't know, like a bit. Like up here where this W is, you can definitely read that to my eye. So yeah, I'm going to say a little bit of water resistance here. I mean, some of it's going to come off, but you're going to be able to read it, and that's my test. Okay, let's see it on some other papers. Firstly, currently inked. This is wheat straw paper, of course. And here it is on the currently inked wheat straw paper. Looks great, I think. It has a cool gray, and I think that's because it's kind of bluish. So it's got that cool color family going on here. And yeah, it looks nice. Also here from the Sailor, looks just as good there, I think. Now here's an interesting thing. I don't know what happened, but when I put this little flag on this page, if I take it off, it actually takes the entirety of the ink with it. Crazy, right? I don't know. I think I must have just put it there like right after I wrote with the ink, but I don't know, man. Just takes that ink right off there. Crazy stuff. All right. Here is Tomoe River in an ink journal. If you don't have an ink journal, get you an ink journal or an Inky Fingers. Got to keep track of your ink somehow, right? And here on Tomoe River, you get definitely, I think, more difference on this paper than you do on the rest. This paper is very coated, very ink resistant, and so you definitely get a darker color here than you do from the HM nib. So it's just putting down more ink, but still totally legible on both, and I think it looks quite nice. You get a lot of shading and that sort of thing out of here. Of course, no sheen in this ink at all. Okay, here is the chromatography. Look at that. Oops, there. Look at this. Crazy, right? You have this gray down here, which didn't move, which is nice because you can tell it's got a little bit of water resistance perhaps. But then as you come up here, you've got like violet and then magenta and then bright green. At the top of that, just like a tiny strip, maybe a tiny strip of bright blue at the top. But man, gray inks and black inks sometimes will really surprise you by what's hiding in there. Also browns, strangely enough. All right. So here we have a Colodex card, my favorite way to organize my ink samples. And let's look at some things next to it. We've got Papier Plume's Oyster Gray, which is kind of close, although it doesn't have the shading that you'll get from Cool Gray. Oyster Gray from Papier Plume is a great ink, but it's sort of a light black instead of being a real gray, I don't think. But yeah, real nice. I like that one quite a lot. Very smooth on the nib. One of my favorite Papier Plume inks. We've got here Diatramentis' Graphite Black, which is kind of a super dark pencil-y sort of thing is what I think they're going for there. And this is fairly close, although it's got sort of overtones of green in there when you compare it to this one. So, slightly different. Then we've got Caran d'Ache Infinite Gray, which I think actually Gourmet Pens, Aziza, has been playing with recently. And this is more of a brownish gray than this. So yeah, really, there's such a wide gamut in grays, and none of them are really the same. This is Three Oysters Doldam, which you can see next to it. I didn't like this ink all that much. The flow was not great for me, but this one, Cool Gray, very cool. I think this has more interesting colors in it, perhaps, but given performance, I would go with this one. Doldam tended to bleed, is what I remember that one doing. So this one behaves very well, looks cool, comes in a neat bottle, and these go for about $16 for 38 mils. So not super cheap, but not prohibitively expensive, I don't believe either, and definitely worth trying out. So go to your favorite ink purveyor, tell them I sent you, because that sort of thing helps, and they lets them know where you can find stuff. Follow me on the social medias as Ink Dependence on Instagram and at Madison on Twitters. Check out my store at www.inky-d.com for pin wraps and sleeves and of cool little pen rests and all kinds of fun stuff. Check that out, and I will see y'all later on the internets. Peace out.